webinar, Tech Tools for Common Core Close Reading. My name is Julie Zaleski, and I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions at Canisius, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. Dr. Padlet will be our presenter today, and at the conclusion of our presentation, there will be a time for questions and answers. Please use the question box in the bottom right of your screen to type a question, and I will share them at the end. If you have a question at any time, if you're having difficulty with your audio or video, just please use that question box. All participants are currently muted, but I can respond to you and help you assist you with the process. Right now, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Dr. Kotlik, and we'll let him get started. Dr. Kotlik, if you just give us 1 minute, I want to make sure that you have your screen fully expanded.
I believe
so can see it.
I do.
Everyone should be able to see a blue screen that says Tech Tools for Common Core Close Reading.
Can you hear me, Julie? Julie, can you hear me? Julie, I think you have me muted as well. I was. I think you had me muted as well.
It's okay. We got you all set now.
Wonderful.
And we have one participant that was having a little bit of trouble seeing the screen, so I just wanted to make sure that you had it fully up and ready to go. And I will check with her and make sure that it's all good, but if you want to get started.
Okay, great. I'll go right ahead then. Thank you. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. I'm looking out the window right now of my home, and it's snowing pretty well. So if hopefully you're all at the comfort of your own homes and you're not being inundated with snow right now. I want to apologize first. I have no webcam, so you can't see me. I was hoping to get my webcam from school today, but I haven't been at school in 2 days now because of our snow day, so I apologize for that. But I'm going to use this Google document as the basis of the presentation today. And you can get access to this Google document yourself. And here is the actual URL for it. It's just http tinyurl.com/Canisius EdTech Common Core. Okay? And if you want to get it now, that's fine. If you don't, I'm actually going to video this, and we're going to get that link to you and the video to you as well. So you can always have this document and use it as a living, working document, so you don't have to furiously write things down and try to remember everything that I'm going to show you today. So hopefully that will work out for you. So there's the actual URL, and if you wanted to, you can also scan this QR code right now, and that URL will also appear on your device. Okay, so you have a few options here how to get access to this document. So a little bit about me quickly. I am the director of the Educational Technologies program at Canisius College, and I'll talk about that program at the end of my presentation, where we teach teachers how to use technology. But that's only my part-time job. My full-time job is a high school history teacher at Clarence High School, which is outside of Western New York if you're not from the area, where I use technology every day practically. And I also do a lot of professional development for the district, helping other teachers how to use technology as well. So I wear two hats. I want to know that I wanted at least the audience to know that I use these tools so much with my own students. So hopefully you'll feel better about that. These do work, and they have great impact. So let's sort of work our way down here. Actually, there's my contacts. If you want to get a hold of me, my email, preferably, I guess, my Canisius address, that would be fine. Now, this session will not be how do you close read or what close reading is. Hopefully, most of you understand that already. If you're not, there's so much online to learn how to do close reading. This session will focus mostly on what technology tools are there that are available to help you facilitate that process, to get students more engaged, to get yourself more engaged with a lot of these new Common Core initiatives. And I say new with quotes. Most of us who have been teaching a long time realize that there's not a lot new. It's just giving new names to good teaching techniques, right? So I'm going to focus on a lot of these tools today, and some of the basic ones will be at the beginning, and hopefully some new ones that you've never seen more towards the middle and the end of the presentation. I'll stop after each section if you have any questions, or actually, you know what, better yet, we'll just field all questions at the end, so we'll make sure that we get enough time to get through everything. All right, So the first tool up really is something that hopefully most of us have been used to using. Is certainly a PDF reader, and certainly Adobe Acrobat has been like the tried and true PDF reader. Now, what can you use that for with Common Core Close Reading? Now, right away, I'm going to show you an example of a PDF that my students and I worked on as a class, and we highlighted this together and we annotated this together. So again, I'm using historical examples because I'm a history teacher, but here was this great secondary source on the Jazz Age of the 1920s, and then as a class we worked on this. I put this on my smartboard and I used my pen to basically highlight and annotate as we worked through this together with my students. So here we're highlighting, using different colors for when the author was using primary sources, really mark up the text, understanding what some of the key questions were the author had, using these, the pop-ups to talk about what kind of sources the author used. Again, using different colors for different sources that were used, newspaper sources, secondary sources, talking about a roadmap, how an author sets up the article to sort of lay out that roadmap for his or her reader, and we were marking this up during class. I know this looks extensive, and it is, but this was all really doable using Adobe Acrobat in class live with the students as a whole group activity. Okay. Now again, you can use that tool as a smaller tool for individual group activities or individual student activities, but it's a great possibility. Now, I want to show you two versions of it. This is the professional version, and that's an expensive version, and some districts purchase it for their teachers, some districts do not. But it's really, got tremendous amounts of features, but I'm going to show you quickly how the free version has come such a long way. When I gave this presentation just a few months ago, I would focus how many tools the professional version had. How, again, you could take something and, you can highlight it, and you can change the colors of the highlighting, and you could do all these things. You could add pop-up notes if you want to, certainly, discuss and annotate certain passages, and you can start, writing text in here and so forth, and underlining and using arrows and doing all these great things to make it come alive. That's what I used to make this document come alive in class, and the students really appreciated that. But now, with the free version, I'm so happy. Before, you could only highlight and add some basic bubble comments. But all of a sudden now, they have added all of these tools over here to the free version, which pretty much mirror the expensive version. So that's terrific. So in many respects, for Common Core Close Reading, you only need this version. You can do the exact same thing. I mean, you want to highlight certain text, great. You want to add bubble comments, awesome. You want to add a text box and maybe put some notes right there on the screen about the particular passage, whatever you're doing. There's so much you can do here. And again, this is what students can do on their own because it's the free version. And if they wanted to share this with you, forever means you use to share electronic files with them, whether it be Edmodo or Schoology or Google Classroom, whatever you're using, you can do that. Or you have kids in a computer lab, or if you're in a one-to-one situation where everybody has their own device, this is fantastic. So again, you can do this with your students as a whole group activity or just as an individual assignment to have them mark up a text. All right, so that works so well, especially now with all the additional features of this. Okay, now Google Docs. I'm a huge fan of Google Docs. More and more, my school is going towards Google to do more things. Everybody has their own Google account and Google Apps for Education, and we could spend all day on Google. But just to get quickly into Common Core Close Reading, again, if you have a passage as a Google Doc, there's, again, so much more you can do with this. Again, Google is great for sharing documents with one another. So students can work on this document collaboratively and mark it up collaboratively. And you can go to the revision history and you can know exactly which student marked up which part of the document. So just quickly again, I mean, the simple basic tools of highlighting text, are certainly all there. Click on highlight, choose your colors for different things you want done to the text. If you want to strike out certain text and you want to do that, you can do that. Go to strike out and put lines to the text. If you want to talk about certain passages, you can add comments to that particular passage by hitting the comment button And then over here, the comment, you can write comments about that text, and you can really tear that text apart visually to really break it down to its most important elements, the thesis, the language choice, whatever you're trying to do with your students as a close reading activity. Okay, so you have all these comments there. Now again, students can work on these documents together. Now this is the whole other animal, and hopefully we're hoping to do some more Google webinars in the spring. But if you share a document, those of you who are new to Google Documents, you can actually put the names or email addresses of the folks you want to share with, and you can give them editing privileges. Or if you click on Advanced, you can certainly change this, and you can give anyone a link to the document. And now anyone with the link, you can change it here to Edit. And then you just save that link, and you copy this link right there, and you share that with the people you want to work on, and then they can all work on it together. If you're already familiar with Google Apps, there's something new called Google Classroom, where this does it for you automatically. And I don't want to get into Google Classroom today, but I use it all the time with my students, and it gives you the ability to share with all your class what documents you want to actually share and give them privileges. And if you go to the revision history, click on File, go to revision history, you'll see all that's been done of this document, over and over again, and you'll see who worked on it. Right now it's just me, but it would have all the different people who've been working on this document. And that's great for a teacher to actually see, and for who's working on what, and give them credit and accountability. So that's Google Docs. And again, similar features with Microsoft Word. If I go to Word, again, I'm keeping it consistent here with the Gettysburg Address, because it's a small passage. It's easily understood for the most part, and you can digest it and analyze it quickly. But the same idea. I think most of us who use Word realize that you can certainly highlight text. Certainly you could annotate it, and you could add lines to it. You could underline text. You could strike out text. But you can also add comments. And this is something that's easily overlooked. Say you want to comment about that particular sentence. Go to Review on the top, and then you can add a new comment. And that will come up there. And now it's very like Google Docs. Now you can talk about why this passage is significant. I'll just write test down there just as an example. But now you can sort of mark it up, and you can do all very similar aspects there. So again, all of these tools, whether it be Google Docs, whether it be Google, whether it be Adobe Acrobat, have a lot of the same functionality. Okay. Now I know that's fast, but here's what I put in this Google document. I have videos on how to do all of this that go through it very carefully. So click on any of these links, and a YouTube video will come up that will go over this in much more detail for you. Okay, so that's kind of like our first section of using some of our more familiar tools about Common Core close reading. Okay, now, kind of moving on, I'm a big fan of having students use devices in the classroom, whether it be their own devices, cell phones, whether it be school devices like a laptop or a Chromebook, or whatever the case may be, or even iPads. How can you engage them more in the classroom with these devices? One of the greatest ways I love using is something called Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere is sort of a free service that allows students to text in responses to a class, and their responses come up live. Now, let me just show you a poll here. And what I'll show you, these are the responses that students, I want to show this full screen. These are the responses that students gave when I asked them to analyze a thesis of a work we were looking at Jared Diamond's Guns, Germs, and Steel for my AP World classes, and students were just using their phones to text in responses live in class. So as they text in and press submit, their responses come up right on the screen. So you can ask a lot of different questions that are related to Common Core close reading. Word choice, significant parts of the passage, a significant quote, a thesis, whatever the case may be, to deconstruct that text. You can do that with Poll Everywhere. And their responses come up in live, real time, and the students love seeing that. It's a great motivational tool. Again, we always have those students who never want to talk in class, those students who are sort of shy. Here we have some great opportunity to actually have these students be involved and engaged in the actual class. Now, it's super easy to make a poll. You just press Create Poll. You can ask a multiple choice question. You can ask a short open-ended question, and basically you just type your question in here. Are we having a good time right now. I hope so. Okay, so then you can have open-ended question. You could have it, all these things, images. They could appear as a word cloud, which I'll get to in a moment. You know, word clouds are awesome, and as they text in, the word cloud sort of, you know, creates itself, and then you press create. It makes that weird little old, is that Pac-Man sound? I think so. I'm dating myself. But as it comes up, the students can now, you can do this right now. If you had a phone with you right now, you can basically, in the message, the to sender is 37607, and in the message box, you just type 547638 space in your message and press send. Cool. Awesome. And it works. Now, if we were all together in the same class, I could push this out to my students, and they also can then use other devices. They can use an iPad. They can use their iPhone. They can use their smart devices, and they just go to this link. And you can do the same thing right now too, to this link, and you can respond to this poll. This is really cool. And you can even get a link to the poll, and you could post a link on a website, and the students can go to the website later, and they can respond even on a computer, a PC or a laptop or a Mac at home or in a computer lab or whatever you want to do. So if your school has some policies against, you know, using cell phones in the classroom, you can use this with laptops, with you know, desktops, anything you want. It's completely web-based. You can even put them in a PowerPoint, and it could come up live and everything. So tremendously powerful tool to analyze text. So I think that's a lot of fun. So hopefully that's something new for you. Okay, Quizlet. Another free tool, maybe some of you have already used it, for making vocabulary activities and assessments and games. And I use Quizlet all the time for vocabulary. I think vocabulary is an essential part of reading, and certainly close reading. And Quizlet is absolutely phenomenal, where basically I'll bring up my page of all the decks of vocab terms that I've created, which is just awesome. And you can just, you know, go through all these decks of stuff that I've made for my classes. But I'll click on one of my decks here. And this is how students see it. And, you know, they can go through all these vocabulary terms. They can go through the flashcards, which is great because it looks like a flashcard. And for anyone with special ed students or English second language students, it will actually read the term out for you. And it will read both sides of it, which is really kind of neat. So you can show both sides, just show the term, just show the definition. And you can kind of play through your deck. Click here to flip the card over. Really nice. Students, you can make your own. You could also actually embed images in these cards. This is great for some of our teachers of younger students, which is absolutely wonderful. And then students can also play games. There's a learn game, a speller game. They can make their own tests. You can make a test here and give it out in class based on the vocab. It makes it for you. There's a cool race game. And it's really neat, and I actually paid the extra $20, which I usually don't like to pay extra money for these tools, and it gives you a classroom management feature where you can actually see, once your students create an account with you, you can see actually when they work on stuff, what they worked on, how long they worked on it, what challenges they had, what terms were most challenging, and it's a great assessment tool for a formative assessment, which is absolutely wonderful. So cool things you can do there with Quizlet. And it's super easy to make a deck. And this, let me show you this one feature of it. I'll open this up, and let me just edit it so you can see what it looks like to actually make a deck. And, come on, edit. Let's go. And probably have way too many tabs going here. Apologize, I'm a tabaholic. So here is how you actually make a deck. And you can import your terms through a spreadsheet or type them in, you know, yourself. So say I'm on Abigail Adams, and I could type in what I want for Abigail Adams, but see how this little auto-define feature came up? You can then click on this, and it will give you all of the definitions that have ever been made about her that are already in the bank here. So you can actually use what's already been created, or create or add your own definition. And that's super awesome. And students can make their own cards too. And so if you want students to make cards and share them with the class, they can do the same thing. So this could be teacher-directed and or student, individual, or group activity. But what a great way to focus on vocabulary is through Quizlet. Okay? Awesome. Now, keep on going on here. Noodletools. I don't know if anybody used Noodletools before, but Noodletools first started out as a citation generator. So if you wanted to make a correct MLA or Chicago or APA citation, you could use Noodletools to do that. which is awesome. But then they started to realize that they had to go beyond that, and they started to make their product more research-oriented, where students can only make bibliography, but also create note cards and build their sources and all their notes right here. You can do a complete paper right here, and all your little index cards or yellow legal pads. But what's really cool about Noodletools is the way they break up how you do your research. I know it's a little bit dim. I'll actually go into Noodletools so you can actually see it better. But let me just open up a project. And I create a project, and I'm not going to show you how to do this all right now. It's in the videos. But let's open up a project, which is cool. I actually wrote a chapter last year for a book on flipped learning, and I actually used this to write my chapter to force myself to use it so I would know what my students go through. And if I go through this, I'll hit all the references. And it had all my references here, and great, they're all correctly formatted. But let me show you all the cards that are associated with it, which is really kind of neat. And hide all. I'm sorry, hit the wrong link. Let's go here. Okay, there we go. So these are my note cards. I put quotations in here and things like that, and my own ideas. And now all my research is in one area. So say I'll go to note cards. Let me just show you how to make a brand new note card so you can see what I'm talking about. So I go to my note card page, and it's kind of neat. It puts all your note cards on this virtual tabletop. So remember, like for a lot of us who maybe went through college or grad school making papers, you used to have all your index cards. Well, you can move these around and do cool things with them like you would at home, and you can put tags on them. But let me just make a brand new note card here. And this is the greatest thing about it. You put the title of your note card here, and then it divides it up by direct quotation. You put any direct quotes here, any paraphrasing right here, or any of your own ideas right here. And it really forces students to really think about a text and force them to add direct quotes, force them to think about the analysis of it, and put it into their own words, which is all great close reading skills. And once you have your bibliography made, they already appear here. So you just go through all your sources, and you can link your card to any source that you already have in your bibliography automatically, which is really neat. So students really don't like doing this because it's not easy and it's time consuming at first, but then when they get through the process, they absolutely think, wow, that was really great, and how easy it was to actually write my paper or do anything with it. And they have different versions of this. This is the advanced version for more middle and high school students, but there's actually a very simple version too that's great for elementary ed. So I'm not showing you that because I don't have access to that, but there is, and you can really do a lot with that. The pricing is not bad on this. This is not a free product, but really if your school wants to get into this, it's an absolutely wonderful tool to investigate. All right, wonderful. QR codes. Love QR codes. Anytime I can use the QR code, I want to. I don't know why. I just think it's fun. But what possibilities I thought about QR codes with close reading was to basically give a passage with a QR code on it and have students maybe actually with pen and paper mark that up in class, but then they could scan the QR code and it might be like a check. It might be like an answer. They can go back and see what you had on the text that was important as kind of a checking for understanding. So if I went back to this passage, I can give this passage out as it is, clean and unmarked, and I could put a QR code on it, and then the students could read it and mark it up themselves, and then they could actually scan that QR code, and then this version would come up on their phone or whatever, or their iPad or tablet, whatever device they're using. It's super easy to make QR codes. If anything you want to do with a link or a text or anything you want to do, the one I use is qrstuff.com. And it's opening up here, but you have all these options that basically make it a little bigger for you. You can add a website URL, a YouTube link, anything you want, just plain text, which I've done. So they scan it and plain text comes up on their phone, every text you want it. I've done that for scavenger hunts where I made cards with like vocab terms, and then I've hidden QR codes around the room. The students then have to find the QR code, scan it, get the definition, then try to find the matching term, which they had a lot of fun. And they're juniors, and they're like running around the room like crazy people because they want to win. So you can imagine how that would be in middle school or elementary school. So it's just great stuff to actually do, which is just a lot of fun. All right. Okay, I promise I'll take questions at the very end of this, so hopefully you're all still with me. So there are the videos for Pull Everywhere, Quizlet, Noodletools, and QR codes. So watch those to get some more great ideas on how to use those with your own students. Okay, now what about like highlighting, annotating PDFs from the web. I showed you how to use Adobe Acrobat. I showed you how to use Word and Google Docs. Well, how about doing this just in a Chrome browser or Firefox? Anybody use Explorer? I don't. But anyway, I'm a huge fan of Chrome, and I just started using Chromebooks the past year with my students. So if you know what a Chromebook is, it's Google's OS, Chrome OS, which runs basically just a browser on a laptop. So everything has to be web-based or cloud-based. So there's some really great tools out there that are super useful and are actually free for the most part. Digo is great, and you can install Digo as an app. So I go to my app screen here. If this was a Chromebook, it would look the exact same way. I'm not using a Chromebook right now, but it works the same way. So I go to my app launcher. Those are all my apps, but you'll see Digo in there somewhere. So you click on this Digo app. Or if you put it in it could also be an extension on Chrome. So you can click up here next to your URL bar to click on and annotate any website or PDF. So if you want to just have a website come up, you can start annotating it. Or you can have a PDF come up, you can start annotating it. So let me just bring up a PDF off a website. It's actually my website. It's a PDF. So you can annotate PDFs through Digo or anything, or any HTML website. Make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. And this little button automatically pops up now because I have this installed. And I click on that, which is super awesome. Just click on it. And the tools will appear for me to use, hopefully. I have a lot going on. I'm so sorry. Oh, I clicked on it twice. Should probably close some things down. Okay, good. So this comes up, this little, editor comes up. Now you can start marking things up right in here. So, okay, great. I'm going to highlight, and I'm going to pick the color blue, and I'm going to, make some stuff down here that's blue. So now that's blue. You can add a little note to it if you want, a little sticky note. If you want to add to it, great. If you want to add sticky notes, you just add a sticky note next to a passage and you test and you save. And all this stuff is saved to the web. And then when you're done, you can either just save it you can save this PDF to your Digo account, and you can even download it with the annotations, which is great. And then you can put it any place you want. Super awesome. And it works the same way for HTML text. And then if you go to your Digo page, it will have all your accounts here, which is really awesome. Anything you've annotated. Now, for a teacher, there's a teacher council, which I won't get into right now, but they like teachers, and they'll give you a free account where you can set up classes. And you can have students sharing stuff right through Digo, and you can even push stuff out to them through Digo. Super great, super easy. So think about that as a great web annotation tool, and the videos certainly go more into detail about it, which is really, really neat. A new one that I just came across about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little more, a month ago. Actually, it was one of my grad students in our tech program showed us this, and I thought that was awesome. So it's a great program because we all learn from each other. So he showed us how he was working with this with his own students, and Notable PDF is really neat. Now, I got to turn it off and on because it won't work at the same time with Digo. They sort of compete with one another. So if I went to my browser extensions and I turn this on, you would see it, but it's very, very, very similar. You could download any PDF file you want. You can annotate it, highlight it, do anything you want. Now, I just started to inquire more about this, and I went to their pricing page, and there's this education section. And it seems like if you contact them and tell them that you're a teacher, they'll give you the premium account with all the features for free. So I actually just did this yesterday, and I haven't heard back from them yet, so I'm hoping I'll hear back from them soon. So this might be a really cool thing to actually do, and it has a tremendous amount of features. You can highlight, add text to it, export it, collaborate, pretty much like a full-powered Adobe Acrobat, but all from the web. So if you're using Chromebooks or want to use only web tools, this is wonderful. So it's a great, great opportunity, or great possibility, I should say. All right, great. Okay, we'll keep on moving on here. So the next area here that I want to kind of get into is word walls, which are great. I don't know if you've ever seen these before. You create a word wall or word cloud of important text examples, whether it be verbs or adjectives or anything you want to do. And there's great options here. The major ones are Wordle, which is really cool. And all you gotta do is just paste your text in, and it will create this word wall for you. And there's this gallery of really cool things you can do with it, and you can see everybody else's Wordles, and just a lot of great possibilities with this. They show everybody else's stuff. But if I go back to create, I can just paste text in here, and let's just see here. I got all this text up here. Let's just say we want to paste some of this text. I won't do it all, but just copy it, and I'll go back to here, and I'll paste it, and I'll just press go. And this will be as effective, because you probably want just, you know, shorter passages, whatever the case may be. But then it just shows you, like, from a standpoint of what words are used most often, and those words come up larger and in different shapes, and just a lot of fun you can do with this. Again, I'm probably asking my computer to do too much here, but give it a second as it tries to figure this out. It doesn't usually take this long, but I'm running a lot of things at the same time. Well, we'll come back to it. But there's other ones that work very similar, Tag Crowd and Tuxedo, and they all work really well. And I'm sorry, I probably should. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I want to run. Here we go. And it's waiting to figure it out. So cool. There you go. You got it. So it's got, like, nation was used a lot, dedicated, and all these kind of words that they now just kind of stand out. So what a great way to take, like, a poem or a short passage, and now let's just really look at words individually and have students do this, which is really cool. Tuxedo, other ones have great ones. They all work very similar. Some of them have more capability, but it's a great opportunity. Again, back to Poll Everywhere, which I started off earlier. You can have your responses go right to a word cloud, which is really kind of neat, because as students text in their responses, the word cloud changes in real time, which is really neat, and students really like seeing that. So those are some great possibilities. Okay, now Padlet. Padlet's a tool that I think it's overlooked a lot, and I wish it wouldn't, because it's really kind of neat. And you can create a wall of words or phrases in a very neat visual way. And these are, again, free tools. They're just awesome. And let me just go right to Padlet. Again, this is all web-based. So again, if you like to use a Chromebook or a browser, I think there's definitely apps for Padlet. This is one that I made. So I put the images together, and now you can have students add to this wall. You can give privileges. You can set the parameters for it, what they can put on it, and you can moderate what they put on here. But all they do is just double click, and now they have the ability to sort of add something. They could post anything they want. They could post like a passage, they could add a link, they could upload a file, like an image, or even their paper, anything they want to do, or they could take a photo from a webcam, and now that becomes part of the wall. So you could really, like, put up a passage or something, and students can kind of build this wall together. There's so much really cool possibilities. And then you can share this, you can export it to, like, a website. So students can just go to a website. There's tons of sharing here, obviously the usual ones, but you can export it as an image if you wanted to save it. You can embed the code, if you're good with that stuff, right into your own website. And then students can actually do it, or you can give them the QR code for it. It makes a QR code for it. There's just so much, and it's not hard to actually make one. Just click on create a new wall, which is kind of neat, and then you just kind of guide you through it. There's templates. You can use their images. You can get images from your own bank of images, and you just start modifying your wall, and you start adding to it. And the settings feature is really kind of neat, because you can give a description to it. You can then give it the privacy, like how do you want this to be used. You can give it a password. You can give it totally public, hidden link. They can write. You could actually, change. You can moderate it. So you're afraid someone's going to put something on the wall that's inappropriate? Fine. You can moderate posts. There's just so many really neat tools with this. And honestly, by myself, I always kind of forget about it too. I should use this more often. It's a really neat tool to actually use. Okay, so think about using Padlet. So again, a lot of great videos here on how to use these things, Digo and Padlet and word clouds. So please make sure you check those out. And another great thing is online graphic organizers to tear apart text. I used to use Kakao, and it's good, and MindMeister, but I've really gone now to really loving Lucidchart, because again, Lucidchart really likes teachers, and it's linked with Google Drive now, so you can kind of put them together, and you can kind of have it as part of one of your Google apps if you're a Google person. And it's also free, and you just write to them and say you're a teacher. They give you free accounts. I think they give you like 100 free accounts. And then I needed more than that, and they said, sure, we'll give you extra 50. What do you want? And they give you all this free stuff, and they don't want anything from you, which is really, really, really nice. So Lucidchart is great, and they have another product called Lucid Press, which I don't want to get into today. But if you like desktop publishing and have kids do like flyers and posters and anything like that, they have a really neat free program called Lucid Press. Lucidchart also works really good on an iPad. There's a dedicated iOS app for Lucidchart, and it works really well. And Lucidchart also works on any browser, Chromebook, PC, Mac. It's really, really nice to use. So I go to the document section here. Just kind of open it up, and it gives you your library of what you have. And we'll be a little patient. And you can make folders and have all your stuff kind of set up. I'll show you one that I created for my students. So let me just kind of work my way down here. And this is my class. I teach a class on American military history where students actually get credit through Niagara University. Whoops, shouldn't mention that other university. Sorry. We're Canisius. We don't talk about Niagara. But anyway, so let me just open this up and give it a second here. And this is a finished product. But you can see all the tools. You can add boxes, and you can add really cool colors. You can add links and images. You can even embed videos if you really wanted to. I've had students do that. And, you just kind of go through the document, and I made this graphic organizer for students how they can make movies in my class. And I gave them, this is all the different paths to using this. So I made this one. And so that works out well. But I'll show you some examples of students making like mind maps. Every once in a while I teach psychology, and psychology is great for students making mind maps on different topics. And I can just show you one. They're all actually really, really good. But let's just show one that might be a little bit better. But just show you the capabilities here. This is a student-created mind map, which is great. And so again, you can do this in class together, even on a smart board, if you want to just do this as a whole class activity, or have students kind of make their own mind maps. And they're super easy to actually share. I just showed you that. I'll go back to a mine, and if I go to the share button, they can do so much with it. They can just add, they can work on these actually collaboratively. Forgot about that. So it's like a Google Doc where they can all work on it together at the exact same time. So they can publish it as a web page, as a PDF, as an image. They can embed it somewhere. So just super easy. And then you can also comment. So if you want to add comments to as a teacher, give them feedback, you can also do that. So this is a great, great tool to actually use for making mind maps. All right. Now, the last one here I want to go over is Glogster. Glogster's been around for a while, and I really like Glogster a lot, and they've spent a lot of money on making a new iPad app. Only reason I'm shying away from Glogster is it's becoming a little pricey. So if your school buys it for you, it's wonderful. But if they don't, it gets a little bit pricey. There's some free functionality, but I no longer have bought into it. But let me just, I'll go to Glogster here for you real quickly. And let's bring it up. And I'll show you some examples of student work that I have had students do. So we'll bring up Glogster, and I don't know if it's going to log me in or not. But basically, Glogster is great because you can make these great posters where you can embed images, and you can embed text, and you can embed voice, and they're not really showing you some of their ideas here, but it's really, really great. But let me show you some student examples. So here's an example of one of my students. And I had them find newspaper articles on the Civil War from a historical newspaper database. And then they had to sort of take apart that small article and really to look at the text that was used, really research it. What a great close reading activity. So this is all student created. I didn't make any of this. This really was so awesome. And this is this really cool poster that this student made. And let it kind of come up here. So she chose the background, she chose the images of this article about this woman at Gettysburg, Jenny Wade, and then she did screenshots of the actual newspaper article for text examples, and she analyzed it, which was really awesome. looks so good, it looks so professional, and that was great. So you can embed audio here, you can record your own voice into these, you can embed YouTube or any kind of image or any kind of media file into these, and really make a poster come alive. I'll show you one more example. We're doing pretty good here. And here's another one that a student made, same topic, Civil War. And let's wait for that to come up for a second. We're waiting. Sorry. It looks just great, and I think she had more video embedded into it, just so you can see what that looks like. Yeah, great. She does. And this was another one about, I think about the Gettysburg, Battle of Gettysburg, and she did all the own backgrounds, and she chose it. Same idea of getting a text example. She got images, and then she embedded in a video, and the video will play right there. She embedded some great images. So really cool interactive poster, which is super awesome. So definitely check out Glogster, and if you get someone to buy it for you, great. Okay, so that's it. Before I take questions, I'll just kind of show you real quickly. Again, this is a link to our Education Technologies program at Canisius. So if you or someone you know would like to pursue more of this, we have a great 4-class certificate program to get an advanced certificate in EdTech. Or we also have a master's degree and also another master's degree that leads to a New York State certification as an educational technology specialist. So these are great programs. They're all taught by teachers like myself, who are actually working in the classroom using technology, and they're wonderful. And here's a video about the program, and that's what I look like. Sorry, in case you didn't know what I did. I'm sorry, I had no webcam. And there's also a link to all of our great, wonderful graduate programs, in-class and online programs at Canisius. So you could watch this video and click on these links about our program, and hopefully you or someone you know can join us. So I'll bring it back to the beginning, and I will field any questions. I hope I have left enough time. So hopefully that worked out well for everyone.
Absolutely. Hi, Dr. Kotlik. This is Julie again.
Hi, Julie. Thank you.
As Dr. Kotlik said, there is a question box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you'd like, you can type in a question, and we will answer it now. I'll read them off to Dr. Kotlik, and we can answer them. While we're waiting to see if we have any questions, I would just like to reiterate what Dr. Kotlik said about our EdTech program, both the master's degree and the 4-course certificate. It is not too late to apply if you're interested in taking some courses starting this January. Classes start January 12th. And when you get your Google Doc and your recording, you will have a link to the program, as well as to Canisius.edu graduate, which you'll find a list of all of our programs and a button to apply for free online. So if you have any questions about that, I certainly would be more than happy to help you. And if you have questions about some of the tools that you saw today, Dr. Kotlik would also be willing to help, and we can certainly follow up with you after the webinar and send you any information you might need. So I think we don't have any questions right now, and so I just want to give everybody a couple of minutes and make sure. I'm not sure how many local people we have here that are possibly snowed in today and enjoying this webinar. I don't know if you were asking about today, Dr. Padlet, or not, but
No, we went out to get just to fill up gas in the car, just waiting for the second round of Armageddon. So that's about it.
yeah, it's on the way, one year round. So I don't think we have any questions today. What we'll do is we'll wrap up, and I'd like to thank you for attending our Tech Tools for Common Core close reading. As I said, you'll receive all this information by email. If you have any questions, you can always reach us, and just by going to canisius.edu/graduate. And there's our contact information as well as information about our program. And I'd like to send a special shout out. Thank you to Dr. Kotlik for joining us on this snowy day. And you guys have a great day. We'll wrap things up. Thanks so much.
Thank you.